We're talking marinara. Every Italian household has their rendition of a marinara sauce, including my grandmother's, who made the best. But if you ask any Italian household, they all make the best. But my grandmother really did make the best. Today we're going to make a marinara. It's my rendition of my grandmother's. What's the wonderful thing about marinara? Well, it's pretty versatile. It's like the mother of all red sauces, in my opinion. You can turn it into a creamy rosé by just adding some cream. You can make it really hearty by adding some meat. You can add meatballs, cook them in there, and it just becomes something completely different. Each different addition adds a different flavor to the sauce. So this is just a basic marinara. We're going to start by heating up a Dutch oven. You can use a saucepan, just as long as it's deep. Okay, so I'm heating this up. What we're going to do is we're going to just add the oil in first. And what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for this oil to come to a shimmer. And then we'll add the next ingredient. While we're waiting for this oil to heat up, I actually have a pot of salted water here. We're going to make the pasta at the same time. That's how quick this sauce is. In this water, I've got a little bit of salt. My grandmother always said, you have to salt your water for your pasta so it tastes like the sea. Best way to do that is dip your finger in. Tastes like the sea. It's good. I'm just going to put that on low for now until we're ready. Okay, so now what we've got a shimmer going with the oil. Perfect. Now we can add the next ingredient, which is the onion. And next up, the garlic. I've finely sliced this garlic. You can use a garlic press. You can chop it up. It doesn't matter. I really like the slices thin because I really like to see the garlic floating around. It's not like you're going to chew on a piece of garlic. It really mellows out and it's nice. All right, so we've got the onions and the garlic added. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of salt. This salt is going to actually help sweat out the onions. And we're going to let this go for about 5 minutes till the onions get nice and translucent and that garlic mellows out a little bit. So in the next 5 minutes, give it a stir or two, and then we'll come back. All right, onions are translucent. Next up, white wine. You don't have to put white wine in. You can replace it with vegetable stock or chicken stock. But white wine adds just another layer of flavor. And what happens is we're going to burn the alcohol off. While we're doing that, it's going to take about a minute or two. We're going to cut up some fresh basil. If you don't have fresh basil, that's okay. You can use dried basil. Fresh basil, though, if you can get it, it's worth it because it really brings it to another level. And the reason I'm cutting it now is because you want to cut it last minute, because if it's out too long, it's actually going to turn brown. So we're just going to julienne it or finely slice it. Okay, that'll do. Alcohol's burnt off. And now the final ingredients. We have 2 cups of pureed tomato. And I'm going to get every last bit of goodness out of that. I'm adding salt and pepper. And the basil. And honestly, it's as easy as that. We're done. What we're going to do is we're going to let it go for about 20 minutes, and then we'll be ready. In the meantime, I'm going to start this water in about 10 minutes, follow the package rules, and make some pasta to go along with it. Back in 10. Full disclosure, I earlier in the video said 2 cups of puree. It's actually 3, so I added more in once we turned the camera off. So full disclosure, done. But now it's ready. And our pasta's going and almost ready as well. The best way to check to see if pasta's done is to taste it. So let's take some out. 1, let it cool off a little bit, and give it a try. Another 30 seconds. Okay, it's ready now. Why wasn't it quite ready? It was a little bit too al dente, which means it was just a little bit too much crunch. You want it al dente, you don't want it to stick in your teeth. I'm gonna shut this off, bring this over to the sink and drain it. And I'm gonna dump it back into the pot. Now, no rinsing with water, please. No rinsing with water. Why? Because then you take all the starch off the pasta and the sauce won't stick to the pasta. So now look at this beautiful sauce. It's been 20 minutes, 3 cups, not 2. And now what we're going to do is bring it over and pour some sauce on the penne. We use penne. You can use whatever you want. Spaghetti, linguine, rigatoni, whatever you want. Now, here's another tip. Don't put too much sauce. You want to taste the pasta too, although the sauce is being the highlight. But you don't want it drowning in sauce. And we're going to let that sit. Why? Because the pasta is going to continue to soak up the sauce. And that's a beautiful thing. So we're just going to cover that, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then come back and eat it. Okay.
Hello.
I didn't even have to call you. All right, so cheese or no cheese? That's the question.
I'm gonna go straight up. No cheese.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Get my toss here. Hot.
I'm just gonna say what I like about that sauce so much. It is, okay, I'm gonna put it this way. We spent about 3 weeks in Italy a couple of years ago. One of the things that we found there, I found, was that the sauce was always kind of like this. It was sweet. It never had that sort of edge to it, that bite, that sort of acidic quality to it. And I think it's what you said. The key is do not overdo the sauce. And it's when you overdo it that bitterness occurs. Am I right?
Absolutely. So yeah, the longer you cook tomatoes, the more acidic they get. So that's why this sauce tastes so fresh and light, because it's not cooked very long. So, and now that's really important, because been there, done that, when you've just cooked it too long. Now, that being said, when you put meat in it and other ingredients in it, it allows you to cook it longer, and that acidity won't happen. But it's when it's very pure like this, less is better.
When you're just doing the straight up marinara, yeah. Mm-hmm. And well, exactly. And anyway, you always, I'm used to eating this because we have it a lot. But you never get tired of spectacular tomatoey flavor. That's, you end up tasting the pasta so much, and the tomato sauce is an accent. It's not this powerful force. I think when you try this sauce, that's what you're going to notice about it the most. I think you're really, really love this outcome. And as Shell said, it's not that difficult to make. So treat yourself and your family. Try this one out. You're going to love it. Your friends will be as impressed as hell.
30 minutes from start to finish.